So what is alchemy? True alchemy. It is not turning lead into gold, and it is not some make-believe thing to make people feel good. It's a real thing, and it has been with humanity since the beginning of time. So alchemy starts with self-knowledge, and self-knowledge is the coming into consciousness of the part of us which we are unaware of in general. In general, people in society live in what I call the creative matrix. The creative matrix is the mind, the emotions, feelings, knowledge, imagination. So in there, we find our own consciousness, we find our I am, and in there is created a story about myself and my life and my world, and that is the state that most people live in. They are unaware of the pure self which lies above that, which oversees that creative matrix. So when our consciousness quiets down and raises up in its frequency, really, consciousness expands and we find ourselves into a much more energetic, pure state in which there are no thoughts and no feelings, no emotions. Well, there are some feelings, but no emotions. There are some seeings, and that's like a feeling. So what we see there is, for example, wisdom or compassion, love, but there are no thoughts and no emotions, no imagination, no knowledge. But from the state of the pure self, we can govern the creative matrix, and therefore we can create in the full spectrum of what it means to be human. So I'm devising this entire system, which I actually developed for myself already years ago. I used to call it inner energy management. That's how I wrote it down for myself. And I'm now developing it into something understandable for everybody. I'm going to put it on my channel at one point in the near future. We'll see when that will be, because I have some work to do in working it all out. But I can share already a lot about it. So the pure self, which can be discovered via meditation, via insight, via introspection, is made of what I call formless awareness. So this formless awareness has qualities to it like aliveness. It is very alive. It is very conscious. It is very potent, powerful, and very intelligent. But it has no direction. It's like a light that goes in all directions equally. So that is the substratum of what you are made of. And that formless awareness is like part of a unified field. So it's not a separate thing. The essence of you, the substratum, is not purely yours. It's part of the collective whole. A bit like the drop in the ocean that everybody has heard about, right? Or a solar flare. The solar flare is made of the sun, yet it is distinct, right? So that is that's the same as formless awareness. Formless awareness is distinguishable, or it's an extraction of something which is way bigger, and it is actually the same as where it comes from. The same as the bigger part that it comes from. At the top level, what we are is the unified field, or that's God, if you will. And then the substratum of that, which is formless awareness, is the essence of what is looking through your eyes at the screen right now. And if you abide in formless awareness, you can know yourself as an undifferentiated essence. And the first ripple of your individuality you find in the pure self. That is where you start to exist as an entity, as an individual. And the individual is in three parts, by the way. We'll get to that. But you start from the pure self, and the pure self is different from formless awareness in the sense that it has direction. It's like concentrated energy, concentrated consciousness, aliveness, intelligence. It has a direction to it. It has will to it. It has directional power, and it knows. It is conscious. It is intelligent. with a direction, with a self-awareness. That is the pure self. That's what you go into when you quiet down your mind and when you raise up yourself. So the more coarse layer underneath that, because we go from subtle to coarse, the more coarse layer underneath that is the creative matrix. It's here that the intention of the pure self starts to develop. It starts to imagine. You've known this. If you meditate and you are in the pure self, many people have glimpses of this. And what it does is, when you are in meditation, when there is quietness of the mind, you might have noticed that you gain energy, that you fuel yourself with energy, and that you become more creative afterwards. When this accumulation of energy is fueling your mind, gives you ideas, right? You know this? You get excited, you get imagination, you get ideas, you get great feelings, you get excitement. This creative process is what happens in the creative matrix. It's the mind. This actually is where the alchemy happens. This is where this higher vibrational insight turns into a usable human patterns, concepts that we can talk about, that we can communicate, and that we can create in the world. It's really the mediator between the higher and the lower. And then the third aspect of the individual in this alchemic process is the human body. Very important. Without the body, which is like the hardware of yourself, without the body there is no practitioner here, no individual, because the hardware is needed to support the subtle forms, and these are twofold, right? So we have the pure self on the one hand, and then on the other side of the coin, really, because it's like two sides of one coin, we have the creative matrix. The two go together, and they need the hardware in order to live a full life in this world, knowing yourself and creating in the world and in yourself. It's very important to be able to create in yourself, because at the end of the day, anything that you experience, even the things you have outside, like wealth or relationships, you name it, everything actually is an internal experience. What would it mean to you if you would be super rich or whatever, but it wouldn't do anything to you? You would feel miserable. It wouldn't fuel you, right? Then it's meaningless. But wouldn't you prefer if you would feel amazing with having nothing? Wouldn't you prefer that instead of having everything and feeling miserable? At the end of the day, the inside experience is much more important. That's what it all comes down to. But the externals are a reflection of yourself, so we shouldn't ignore or deny the externals, just like we shouldn't deny the physical body. They all have their importance. So the second goal, so the first goal of this whole process is self-knowledge, and the second goal is the ability to place yourself from the very subtle, the very high, all the way to the low, and everywhere along that axis where you want. That is the real goal, because sometimes people think that the idea of self-knowledge is to transcend the lower states and to kind of live up there in some kind of a heightened state. But that's not true. There is a true, real, big value to being human, to creating in the world and to living this life. It's impossible not to, because there is too much beauty and amazement to be found in this world of form. So therefore, for me, it's very clear that the goal is not to transcend and to be in some kind of another sphere, but it is to be able to be wherever you want, wherever you can place yourself. Wherever you need to be able to place yourself on the entire spectrum, from the coarse to the subtle. And that's what I'm writing all down and what I'm working out, and I'm going to place that here on my channel for everybody to enjoy. So that's a bit of a heads up about what I'm creating, what I'm making, and what I'm going to make available for whoever is interested. So I'll catch you up on another update later on, one of these days. Okay, see you. Bye.